Welcome back. Smooth Joe.
We're back. Haha.
I already said that.
Haha.
So do you think what you have to do is kill these guys? Because you're doing a real
Yes.
great job at that.
Yeah.
Just stellar.
I'm really good at this game.
The movie about
What did you think of
space.
Interstellar? What did you think of Interstellar?
It was good, but it had issues.
Do you think that, spoiler for Interstellar, that love's function in the plot was a good move? Was it your favorite use of love as a force?
I thought that some of the dialogue about it was clumsily done, but people that think that the movie actually used love as like a physical force actually probably didn't pay attention to the movie.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, in science, they have a constant for love.
Well, what is that
Also,
called?
I shouldn't theorize about... I did not think that far into where I was. I wasn't really going anywhere. I just like the
That's
idea
good.
that mathematically there's a constant for
Okay, but
human
so the part that everyone complains about with Interstellar is the dude ends up in like this tesseract thing.
Uh-huh.
That's like
Like an actual tesseract?
yeah, and I guess I don't know. I think that's what they called
A
it.
tesseract is a very specific, real thing, actually.
What is it? And then I can tell you
It is
if
a
this
four-
is what that is.
It is a four-dimensional cube.
Yes, that is
So
exactly
it's-
what he was in.
Okay, cool.
But it was like all of the time behind like his daughter's bookshelf.
Uh-huh.
And he mentions that like, you know, like love brought him there or something. And that's what everyone gets all pissy about. They're like, oh, love's just an emotion. But then he, you know, I think like the robot or something gives like another explanation. And everyone seems to have completely ignored that. But it's also borderline like more ridiculous, so. It was like that humans in the future had evolved into four-dimensional beings and brought him there to save humanity. This turned into a different kind of RPG.
Yeah, I was about to say, while you were explaining that, we switched genre. We switched genres very quickly.
I don't like this kind as much.
So now we're playing a Final Fantasy, and I got gills. I like to think they're just fish parts.
Gross.
Just like they just flop out of the monsters, and you're just like, ew. Oh no,
Colin,
An
did you know
emook.
that? Oh, what?
it's an emook.
It's clearly tame. It has a saddle. Why are you hitting it?
Because it's hitting me first.
You should be a better human being.
Self-defense. It's coming right at us.
Hmm?
Yay, 50 kills. What is this? Ah, mode 7.
Oh, God, no. No.
Everyone loves mode 7.
Name one
It
person.
was much better than mode 6.
What was Mode 6, Colin?
Oh, every
Yeah,
time
just-
with the...
Just dodge the question, whatever.
What? I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question. What was the
What
question?
was Mode 6?
Mode 6 was the tubular thing, wasn't it?
I have no idea. But that sounds way cooler than Mode 7 if that's what it is.
Actually, that probably came later, and it was probably not a mode at all. Whoa. Oh. Oh, cool. The meadow.
I searched Mode 6 and it brought
Neat.
up Mode 7.
Oh. Well,
Maybe Mode 6 just isn't a thing.
that explains it. It's possible. So what can I find without engaging all of those enemies? Jack Squat. Alright. Come on. Come on.
I like the Mode 7 parts
Yeah.
in Super Mario RPG.
Whoa. I don't remember those. I haven't gotten there yet, have I?
Nope. You get to ride a minecart. in 3D.
Oh, that's cool.
It's actually kind of the worst.
No. Is it one of those things that was like cool at the time, but later you realize it was a hideous mess, or is it just not cool at the time?
I don't know. It's just really difficult.
Yeah, there's some stuff where I'm like, you know what? I love this game, but now that I play it again, I realize that it wasn't just me, like, it wasn't just that I sucked as a child. This was genuinely difficult and or glitchy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always, like, a fun realization. Ooh.
So, you know how people say that back when the only, like, you know, back when, like, the NES and the SNES were the only things, like, I've heard people be like, yeah, but back then, you know, that's not what you saw. You saw it as, like, a, you know, whatever. They were just symbolic of something else, or... Do you know what I'm talking about?
Hold on, before we address that, can we just... Sorry, I don't speak to children.
Why doesn't he speak to children?
I don't know.
Is he that guy
I hope that
from
means
The
I get
Hunt?
to grow up. I just like the one thing from Hercules where it's just like, get out of our home, and it's like, okay. Oh, everyone, Anyway, you were saying? Repeat what you were talking about.
Like when the only games were like 2D games. I've heard people say that like back then you didn't just see pixels, you saw it as like a whole other thing or whatever. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah. No,
I don't think anybody like looked at an NES game and like saw something else because they didn't like they'd seen movies before.
Yeah, and also there's this like real life. Like I feel like people have enough of an example that like I don't think that's valid. Like it sounds like people trying to say, oh, well, before we had 3D games, everyone had better imaginations, and now no one can imagine.
Because I grew up with like NES. I mean, not NES, SNES, but I think other things were out when I got those.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember. But I definitely remember not. It wasn't like, oh, I'm seeing this, but imagining this whole other thing.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing close to that I've gotten is that occasionally I've tried to play older games without remembering how dated the graphics have become, and then I'm like, ugh. That happens sometimes, but rarely.
I do think that old 3D games are super ugly.
They are. Oh.
Like, there are NES games that are still gorgeous, and there are very few, like, PS1 3D games that are like, wow!
Yeah, that is true. There aren't a lot of PS1 games where you're like, this is amazing! Everyone's...
Like, even, like, PS2... Even, like, there's a lot of ugly 3D games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of ugly 2D games, but...
It's easier to make 2D pretty earlier, whatever.
Yeah, like Super Mario 3, the Kirby NES game. Those games are awesome. I have a drink.
Ooh, torque.
You got a torque?
What's that?
What is a torque? What was what?
No, but what did you just do?
This?
Oh. Hey, S. Miyamoto.
Does that answer your question?
No, but I'm gonna give up on asking. It's safer that way.
Colin, I printed a Bulbasaur.
Yeah, I want it.
I melted it back down and printed it into a Charmander.
No! Everyone
kidding, I
knows
can't do
that Bulbasaur is the best and most popular starter out of Gen 1.
I think I always went with Squirtle.
No, statistically Squirtle makes the most sense, I think. I just always liked Bulbasaur, and apparently, yeah,
I was totally thinking about that when I was in first grade.
I just like Bulbasaur because he was green. I like green things.
Yeah, I was totally thinking about that on my Game Boy.
What? I'd seen the show.
You know, I don't know if I'd seen the show before I saw the game.
I don't remember actually what the order was for me.
I know I like played the card, like had the cards and saw the show around the same time. But
I don't remember.
but like Pokemon Red was like the first game I played, and I remember getting it and like it was like a used copy, and whoever had it last had like saved in like the nurse's office, and I did not know how to get out.
That's really funny.
That was my first experience with a video game. Being like, what? I'm just in a room. Is it broken? So that was fun.
Cool.
What did you
Cool.
Oh, you're tall now.
I ate the puberty nut.
That's gross.
What?
Please never speak of this again.
Puberty nuts? Does it bother you to hear the phrase puberty nuts?
No, on the next episode we never speak of this again.